Hey there, this is JamiroFan 2000, and welcome to another episode of JamiroFan Talks About, where I talk about the 24-year music history of the Jamiroquai discography. And like in the last episode, where I'm mostly talking about the unreleased songs or demos of the major eras of Jamiroquai's album releases. Now, in the last episode, I talked about the first three Jamiroquai albums. Now, I'm going to talk about all the released songs that existed from Synchronized all the way up to the present day. And it got really skint. It got really skint the amount of released songs on these next album eras, and I'll talk about a few of the unreleased songs at that time. The first two songs were from 2002-2001 during the Funk Odyssey album tour. Two songs were debuted in Australia and Japan during the last leg of the Funk's Odyssey World Tour. There was a song called A Funk Odyssey, which was a title was supposed to be released with A Funk Odyssey, but ended up being a leftover song, never saw a release, but was debuted live. And it was basically another one of these, it's got the body of like a title track to an album. And it was just all about going on a magical adventure and stuff like that lyrically. So it was just another like a dance number. And then there was another song called Cannabliss, which was a very, very promising song. It was a very promising, much like J.K.'s history with marijuana, having sold marijuana in the streets of England when he was a younger person. Cannabliss was another one of those rare Jamiroquai songs about, foreign substances, or marijuana in this case, and it was very, very good. And this is one of the rare unreleased Jamiroquai songs that a lot of fans have had said in a consensus online that they want to see released onto an album, and I chime in my agreement because that was such a good song. Another unreleased song from these album eras, as I said, it was very skint. There was not a lot of songs. There was an unreleased song called Smile, which would end up being released off the tail end of the High Times Greatest Hits release in 2006 as a free download to the fans. And it was just a very lovely, heartfelt song to the fans, and I consider it an unreleased song. Even though it was put out for free download by the band, it was I still consider it an unreleased song. But it was just a beautiful. It was a song with the same beauty of like a 7 Days or Sunny June, or a Butterfly, or a Fallen. One of the just absolutely lush production. Just a lovely summery song. And lyrically, it was very much a nod to thanking all the fans who had been following the band for such a long time at that time. And then probably the next to final unreleased song I can think of was a song that only made its live debut. It never got recorded. It was a song called Shoot the Moon. And it was debuted in the Live of Verona concert, and also saw a second appearance at the Montreux Jazz Festival in 2007, but thereafter, it would never be heard of or recorded or released or anything. So it was basically a one-off live song, and much like Cannabliss, much like A Funk Odyssey, it was basically just an early composition that the band was trying to try out live to see what the reaction would be. And Shoot the Moon, lyrically, was another one of these like laid-back party tracks, which could have had, if taken back into the studio and maybe rewritten or re-recorded, would have yielded a really good single. But alas, it didn't. It wasn't meant to be. So that's about it. As I've talked about in the past, there was a test pressing that got out to the fans in 2000. It was a test pressing of the Funk Odyssey, and it did feature the only unreleased interesting things on that were there was being a test pressing. Some of the songs were still in an early stage, and there was like an extended version of "You Give Me Something." There was a alternate sounding version of Black Crow. There was a instrumental of Main Vein, which instrumentals, no vocals, so it was just the bare bones instrumental. There was a alternate sounding Picture of My Life on it, and as I talked about previously, there was a thing called Interlude, which was J.K. playing on a vocalizer, and eventually that would become the bass line for the future Dynamite first single, Feels Just Like It Should. So But some of these unreleased songs from the latter part of the Jamiroquai discography are available on YouTube to watch or listen to. So I'm going to put links to those songs that I've mentioned in this episode down in the description box of this video down below, so you can check them out and see what you think. All right, I'll see you again very soon with another episode of JamiroFan Talks About. Bye.